наших сил оборони. Ми часто чули у відповідь слово «це неможливо», але все ж ми зробили можливим те, що було нашою амбіцією, нашою оборонною потребою. Тепер це дійсно реальність у нашому небі. F-16 в Україні.
Яка кількість, поки що та кількість, яка є в Україні, поки що та кількість пілотів, які вже навчені, цього ще недостатньо. Позитив є в тому, що ми очікуємо додаткових F-16. Позитив є в тому, що наші хлопці зараз, багато хлопців зараз навчаються.
Dear friends, welcome to another episode of Geopolitical and Military News. In this video, we will discuss the operational deployment of the F-16 in Ukraine, now that the fighter jet is finally operational. What can we expect? This Sunday, August 4th, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky officially presented the F-16 fighters in Ukraine. The presentation took place at a Ukrainian airbase, whose location is obviously secret, with 2 F-16s in the background and another 2 flying over the facilities. During the ceremony, President Zelensky thanked the Allies and said that the arrival of the fighters represents an important milestone in increasing the capabilities of the Ukrainian Air Force during one of the most critical moments of the Russian invasion. According to various sources, 10 F-16 fighters have been delivered and are already in operation by Ukraine, with an additional 65 expected to be delivered over the next few weeks. But where did the F-16s already in Ukraine come from? Where will the rest come from? And most importantly, what role will they play? What can we expect from them going forward? According to various specialists who analyzed the photos of the aircraft, the Ukrainian fighters are equipped with the same IFF antennas as the Danish fighters. These antennas are important for differentiating between friendly and enemy aircraft during aerial combat. The front landing gear has characteristics also typically found in Danish F-16s, indicating that the fighters received by the Ukrainian Air Force are from Denmark. It is important to remember that they are version A, modernized under the MLU program, thus receiving the designation AM. Therefore, they are first-generation F-16 fighters produced between the late 1970s and early 1980s, belonging to the Block 10 and 15 standards, deeply modernized in the 1990s through the installation of much more advanced avionics, especially in communication, navigation, and the ability to receive more advanced signals for weapons and electronic warfare. Therefore, it is important to highlight that the F-16 fighters that Ukraine has received and will continue to receive from Denmark, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Norway are far from being the most modern in the world, but they are also far from being the most outdated. These aircraft are equipped with systems specifically developed to face the fighters that Russia is currently employing against Ukraine. Thus, in technological terms, the Ukrainian F-16s and the Su-27, Su-30, and MiG-29 fighters, which form the backbone of the Russian Air Force in Ukraine, are equivalent, with Russia being technologically ahead only with its Su-35. As the Su-35 is considered very expensive by Russian standards, its deployment in Ukraine is more limited, with Russia losing 6 of these fighters, each with an estimated price between $60 and $70 million. Therefore, one of the consequences of the F-16's arrival in Ukraine could be an increase in the presence of the Su-35, in an attempt by Russia to regain technological leadership in terms of fighters in those operations. But what exactly does Ukraine intend to do with the F-16 fighters? From what we have seen so far, the answer seems to be a bit of everything. During the presentation ceremony, 2 F-16 fighters flew over the airbase armed with short and long-range air-to-air missiles, indicating that Ukraine intends to use these fighters not only to carry and launch long-range air-to-ground missiles but also for short and long-range aerial combat, with the aircraft armed with AIM-120 AMRAAM, which, depending on the version, has an estimated range between 120 and 180 kilometers. Even if the version installed on the Ukrainian fighters is the B, its range of 120 kilometers is already enough to prevent Russia from launching its terrible glide bombs. Those who follow the channel know that Russia has increasingly been using so-called glide bombs against Ukraine, basically freefall bombs with a kit consisting of a GPS navigator and retractable wings, giving them a range of up to 70 kilometers. This means that the Ukrainian F-16 fighters, armed with AIM-120 with a range of 120 kilometers, will push Russian bombers beyond the range of their glide bombs, reducing the risk they pose to Ukraine. Another use for these fighters will be intercepting cruise missiles. Cruise missiles fly very low, making it difficult for ground-based radars to detect them at long distances. However, since the fighters fly at very high altitudes, their radars can detect these missiles up to 150 kilometers away, with the fighters being able to intercept them directly or transmit the threat's location to Ukrainian ground-based air defenses. But besides preventing the approach of Russian bombers with glide bombs and intercepting long-range cruise missiles, the F-16 fighters can also be employed in traditional aerial combat between fighters, known as dogfighting. Since Ukraine has many air defenses, I personally do not believe we will see many dogfights, as Russian fighters no longer risk deeply entering Ukrainian airspace, with the Russian Air Force mainly sending Su-25 ground attack fighters, which fly very low to evade long-range air defenses. However, these encounters could occur mainly over the Black Sea, where the presence of air defenses is much lower. Therefore, defensively, the F-16 fighters will be very important for Ukraine to mainly contain two threats: glide bombs, which need to be launched at a maximum of 70 kilometers from their targets, and cruise missiles, which can now be intercepted with much more safety and precision. The F-16 cannot be seen as a miraculous weapon capable of profoundly changing the war. That will not happen, as the Russian Air Force remains very strong and active in that theater of operations. But it is an asset that, if used intelligently and strategically, will certainly contribute to increasing Ukraine's defense capability against the Russian invasion. Thank you for watching the video until the end. If you liked the content, don't forget to leave your like. This helps the channel grow and reach more people. If you didn't like it, leave your dislike and explain in the comments how we can improve. Also, comment on suggestions for topics we can cover here. Insulting comments or those defending dictatorships or war criminals will be summarily blocked. Thank you for your understanding. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing by clicking the subscribe button below and hitting the bell to receive all notifications. Thanks. See you next time.